In this episode, I try unconventional means to convince the Influenzo that I'm Italian. I take Dad out, but it develops a new problem and he's not impressed. I get very angry. I get very happy. I ask Dad what he thinks of the Influenzo. I did well buying this car. Was it a wise purchase? And finally, get the chance to try the Liqui Moly and see if this additive can save me thousands of pounds on an engine rebuild. Hello everybody, welcome to number 27. I'm Jack and this is the Unfixable Influenzo. And today we're going to try and fix this car and probably save me several £1,000s with £20 worth of Liqui Moly engine flush. So what's the theory behind this? Well, this engine, although the heads were rebuilt, is still burning too much oil. Oil is getting into the cylinders. Within a couple of 100 miles, the plugs are fouling up and it starts to misfire. One of the theories, and one of the most likely I think, is that the oil control rings below the compression rings are gummed up and they are not scraping the cylinder barrel, therefore too much oil is remaining on the cylinder walls and ending up in the combustion chamber. If that's the case, in theory, an engine flush like this that you add to the oil can go in there, clean them up, free them up and get them to work properly. So we will be doing that and seeing if the long-term problem, which otherwise will mean I'll have to take the engine out and probably rebuild the bottom end, if a £20 fix could really sort that out. Before then, you might remember that in the previous episode I was trying to do leak down tests on this engine and I failed miserably. Not only did I fail miserably, but I managed to break the distributor and the rotor. So I'm using an old rotor on there at the moment and the car is misfiring quite badly. I'm not sure if something else is going on. It could also be the plug. So first thing I've got to do is get it to run properly again because it is running really badly. So this is a new rotor, new cap, and I've got a whole new set of plugs because the ones that are in there might already be too old up to use, and once they are, you can't get them to recover. So the first thing is get it to run properly and then we'll do the engine flush. The distributor is in, reassembled. I've taken all the plugs out. I was going to put the new ones in and then I realised it would be quite useful to see if the compression changes after the engine flush. So it's one of the methods in which I'm going to use to try and work out if that Liqui Moly has done anything to that engine at all. The other thing that we're going to do is it smokes on start up, as you'll see when I start it up in a moment. Will the Liqui Moly make any difference to that? And then lastly, I'm going to drive it for a couple of 100 miles. Before, if I did that, the plugs would just oil up straight away. So we'll be able to see what's going on. And the very last thing, in absolute desperation, something a bit unconventional, doing my best to convince the Influenzo that I am a real Italian, hoping that he will look upon me favourably and let me fix him. So, eating my lunch right next to him, and not just that, it's not even spaghetti. This is orecchiette, which is a really sort of Italian type of pasta, so he must realise that I am bona fide Italian, I hope. Well, this is really, really interesting. All the cylinders are bang on cold 175, like literally they're exactly the same, apart from cylinder 6, which is reading like about 130 or something like that, so it's well below, so something's going on with that cylinder. Again, as before, it's got nothing to do with the main issue I have of the plugs fouling, but it is saying there's something going on there. So it'd be interesting to see if the Liqui Moly does anything about that. Now it's time to see whether that misfire fault has cleared. So going to take it for a quick run with my dad, who's never been in this car before, and hopefully all is good. and all is clearly not good. It's still misfiring really badly. It feels absolutely horrible. I'm really angry. My dad isn't impressed, as you can see. I hate this thing right now, and those of you that say I have incredible patience, I don't. I'm so angry with it. And it's probably not even its fault. It's probably my fault, because I think that this second misfire, because it used to run properly with the new plugs, it now isn't. And I think, it's hard to tell with this car, but must be something I did when I did the distributor. So I'm going to have to do a load of work before I can do anything else now. So I'm massively pissed off and angry because I'm supposed to be doing this video on the Liqui Moly, and I can't do that if I can't get it to run properly. Oh! I'm massively happy. I'm massively happy, everyone, again, because I found out what the problem was, and even better, it's not even my fault. It had nothing to do with the distributor. I phoned my friend Les, who's been long suffering, helping me ever since I got this car. And he said, just pull. I rang him and said, I don't know what, I've got so frustrated. I need to fix the real fault. Something else has turned up, blah, blah. He said, look, just do a few things. And one of the things he said, obviously, which I do know, but in the haze of anger, I hadn't really thought through what I was going to do. He just said, pull each plug and see which one it is that's doing it. And it was cylinder 7. I went round, pulled them all, and I had the timing light. So first of all, I checked the timing to see if the timing was right, and it was moving, just to exclude the distributor. And afterwards, I pulled each plug, and there was one plug that made no difference to the way it ran. It was plug number 7. When it also seemed to be sparking a lot when you pulled it out everywhere. So I had a close-up look, and I don't know if you can see this, but these are infamous, absolutely infamous for going wrong. And you can see there where the arcing has gone through and actually eaten through the plastic. So luckily I had an old one, which I've put in, started the car, and it's running on all cylinders, and I am so pleased, just so pleased. Because I thought, oh my God, it's going to be days now trying to track down this fault, and then I need to get on with the other stuff. I can't do the video. I am massively happy about this. The one thing to realise is this is new as well. I changed all this stuff and it's failed within about less than 1,000 miles. So these things are awful. Oh, I'm so happy. I'm so happy. We can get on with what I was supposed to be doing now. Okay, so the instructions are add motor oil at operating temperature, which it is now, before an oil change, then allow the engine to idle for 10 to 15 minutes. Change the oil, fill with fresh oil. Content sufficient to treat up to 5 litres of oil. So 2 of these canisters, because that takes 10 litres. So this is about 15 minutes into the treatment, just before I switch the engine off, and as you can see, it is still smoking. I mean, it looks quite bad on a close-up. As soon as I sort of pan away, you can see that it's not actually as visible as that. It's not bad, but it is still definitely there. Okay, time for the oil change. I've drained the oil, and I was hoping to find lots of black sludge and stuff as evidence that it's cleaned it, but really it is very black, but it's always very black. But there's no sludge that I can see in the sort of dregs. But I guess I was thinking about it, and if Liqui Moly, by the way, I know it's liquid, I always say liquid. If Liqui Moly sort of cleans it out by dissolving stuff, then I suppose it would make sense that you wouldn't get sludgy deposits because it's dissolved into the oil. That's what I'm hoping anyway. So the next thing is refill, 20 weight 50 by the way, which a lot of you have always asked, are you using the right oil? Is it too thin? I am using the right oil. And this is Miller's, no it's not, it's Valvoline, sorry. So it's good stuff. Racing VR1, recommended for these. I'm going to put it back in, then we'll do a start up, see if it's still smoking. I think it will be. More importantly, we'll see if it carries on smoking while it's running, which, as I said, is a new thing and does indicate a ring problem. Take it for a drive with my dad, so he'll finally experience it as it is supposed to run, at least temporarily. Then we'll come back. I'll put a camera on the back as well and see how much it's smoking now while it's driving, and then come back and do compression tests and finally see if it's made any difference whatsoever. So it's going a bit better than yesterday, Dad?
Oh yes, very much so, yeah.
Good. What do you think of it?
It's very good, okay.
It's totally different when it's running properly though, isn't it?
Oh,
you
yes.
can feel a bit more like a Ferrari, the way the engine goes.
Absolutely so, yes.
We'll see if it's still smoking. When it started up, it was still smoking.
Yes.
But we'll just let it bed in. I'm going to do a couple of 100 miles in it, and then we'll do compression tests and all the rest of it. Right now, it's running really well. So, Dad, do you think I did well buying this car? Was it a wise purchase?
Yes, probably was, yes.
Don't lie. He's just being nice. He does not think it was a wise purchase.
Well.
I've only done about 60 miles in the Influenzo. It is running really well, but as you can see, when I got back, it's still smoking, so I'm pretty sure that the Liqui Moly hasn't really done anything major. Also, I've taken just one of the plugs out. This is with 60 miles. You can see, although it's not bad at this point in time, is it focusing on it? Yeah, although it's not bad at this point in time, it is already on the bottom half, starting to get the black gunge on it. Also, I did a compression test on cylinder 6, which was the one with the low compression. It's still 130, so it hasn't changed that either. Now, all in all, I'm certainly not blaming this, the Liqui Moly stuff. I think, the oil control rings, I don't even know exactly what is wrong with this engine, but doing an engine flush with this additive has made no difference as far as I can see. It'll be interesting once I take it out and open it up to see how dirty it is inside. That might be a better test, really, to see how good a job the additive has done. Also, you could see from the GoPro that it is definitely smoking while it's being driven as well. It is quite interesting that it's smoking even at a standstill now and when it's idling. And before, I don't know if I didn't notice, but I think it's got worse, which again would maybe point towards the rings. I was really pleased I was able to take my dad out in it, and it actually ran properly for a whole sort of 60 miles, which was something. It could have been worse. But ultimately, this little gamble hasn't paid off. But I think it was worth having a go, because potentially it could have saved me a lot of money. But I think an engine rebuild is absolutely on the cards and will be happening. The next thing is I'm waiting for Mick from QV to get back, because he wanted to do a leak down test on this, and I think it is worth doing before I take it apart. Also, for that cylinder with low compression, I'm almost certain the others are down to the oil control rings, but that cylinder with low compression, be good to get more of an idea of what's going on there, because is it at the valve end? Maybe I haven't shimmed it properly. Or is it something on the lower side, like maybe the oil, the compression ring on that one is particularly bad. But anyway, as much information as possible before I begin again. So the pasta trick didn't work. I don't think the Influenzo cares that I'm Italian, quite frankly. It's fully determined to make me do as much work as possible. Thank you all so much for looking. I really appreciate you watching. Please do subscribe if you haven't. Do have a look at some of the other stuff, because that really helps me as well, if you can bear to watch it. And I really look forward to seeing you for the next video.